3, 2, 1.
It's showtime.
That's great.
This is ridiculous.
The Truth Network.
Right now. Ooh. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it. It's time for Max World. Welcome to Max World.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started in here.
Call Matt 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
All right, now listen up.
Exclusively on The Truth Network, 99.3 The Truth FM.
6 minutes after 3 o'clock on the second day of May in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and Terry Branstad. He's just going to go right around the legislature and get medical cannabis oil produced in Iowa. I love this guy. Now, I wouldn't like him if he was a Democrat and if he was doing that stuff, to us Republicans and the Republican legislature. But I love it when this guy does this. Good afternoon. You're live in Max World. MAC''S WORLD. I'm J. Michael McCoy, if I haven't told you lately. Thanks for listening. I love this job. Couldn't do it without you. Jeb is producing the radio station manager. Chris Roloff is in our presence today. And the crowd goes wild. Chris. And, of course, Bob Monser at the Cat in the Hat watching the chat. And we do not have Frank today. I guess I should just tell the truth here. Frank got caught eating bacon over the weekend, and his mom grounded him. So I don't think he'll be here all week. Maybe he will be. I don't know. But, man, I tell you what, it's tough when you get grounded. Were you ever grounded?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Does your wife ground you?
No.
Why?
I don't do anything wrong anymore. You like that? Was that good? That was believable.
That's really good. All right, so my question this hour is, should marijuana cannabis oil be legal in Iowa? Now, remember, the legislature did this weird, wacky thing last year. They approved its use for children who have, they're autistic, or they have, what am I trying to say? They have attacks.
Oh, was that Tourette's?
Seizures, thank you. Seizures, yeah. But typical politics, yes, you can use it. You can't own any, and you can't buy it in Iowa. And if you have it shipped in from another state, you'll be charged with a felony. So, yay, the parents, yay, we won the victory. And then the Democrats turned around and said, yeah, but you can't buy it here, you can't make it here, and you can't have it here. So, Dateline, Iowa. Governor Terry Branstad said Monday he's open to the idea of medical cannabis oil being produced in Iowa, but he's still focused on limiting unintended consequences. If it's just limited to the oil, that might be something that could be looked at, Terry said. I'll keep an open mind, but again, there's a lot of different ideas and a lot of different proposals out there, and nothing reached a consensus point during the last session. You may recall the 2016 legislative session ended last week, and lawmakers unable to advance legislation expanding access to cannabis oil, despite an apparent willingness from both Republicans and Democrats to address the issue. Currently, it's legal for Iowans with epilepsy to use cannabis oil, but there is no lawful way for them to obtain it. I just think that's hilarious. So, do you think we should have legal cannabis oil in Iowa? Now, let me walk down the slippery slope that some of you are... oh, by the way, it's 515-244-0077. That's the phone number. It's your voice I want to hear. If you'd like to text a comment, you may do so at the Service Legends Truth Text line, 515-809-0993. 515-809-0993. By the way, I had a guy come up to me at church yesterday. Great guy. Listens to the show all the time, and he's an active texter. So he gave me his number, so now I know when it's him texting in. He said I could do that.
You're not going to block him now, are you?
No. I don't even think we can block, can we?
Probably not.
I'm not aware of that.
We wouldn't want to. I was kidding.
Well, I mean, we may get a situation someday where we need to block people. I don't know, but we haven't ever had that here. I mean,
Well, the nice thing is, if the text is offensive, it doesn't have to be read on the air. So
Yeah,
Well,
as much as you might twist my arm, I won't read it.
well, but let's also remember something else here, guys. If two people always agree, one of them isn't necessary. The last thing I want is unison and harmony and all the things we talk about.
I just mean vulgarity is what I mean.
Oh, no, we won't read vulgarity.
Yeah,
No.
that's all I mean. But you can text to us. I'm sure Bob wouldn't mind seeing.
You know what you could do, Bob, is you could read the text until you get to the vulgar part and then point at Chris and he could go, what was No, that sound.
Cha-ching.
No, that other sound. No, the one you made in the restaurant today. We went to a Mexican restaurant today. After like 3 baskets of corn chips and a half a gallon of salsa, he started making that sound.
I got excited.
And what was funny was all the people that worked there, they'd go, yeah, I am the burrito bandito. So they'd sing with him because you're from Texas.
Yes.
All right.
That's my comfort food, man. Chips and salsa, that's comfort food right there.
515-244-0077. I just want to know if you think cannabis oil should be able to be legally obtained and produced in the state of Iowa. Now, let's run down the slippery slope that you're thinking of. I know what you're thinking, and you're right. Yes, you are right. This is the human way. I want you to remember back a long time ago, probably, I'd say it was the 30s or 40s, when women wanted to have divorce acceptable in society. Because women would be in horrible, abusive, physically and emotionally relationships, abusive. And it was so difficult for them to be able to get away from their husbands that eventually they couldn't get it done. So in the beginning, when divorce was offered as a possible legal solution to a bad marriage, Chris, I don't know if you know this, but the woman had to prove physical or emotional abuse. Now, think about where that pendulum's gone. Here's the pendulum, and it's as high as it can be over here on this side. Let's say your left side. And that is, all right, ladies, we'll grant you a certificate of divorce. Now, the Catholic Church never went with that. In fact, I don't know if church at all went with it in the beginning. But your pendulum is queer over here only if you can prove that you're emotionally or physically abused. Here, you need a piece of paper?
No, I'm good. Okay.
All right. Think of where that pendulum is now. Marriage isn't important. More people today are living together, having children together without being married. And should you seek a legal divorce, what do you get? Non-contested, no contest divorce. In other words, we've gone from, okay, if he's beaten you or he's emotionally abusive and you can prove that, we'll grant you a certificate or a letter of divorce, I guess. To way over here, we don't care if you get a divorce. We don't care if you live together. We don't care if you have children outside of a marriage. We don't care. And if you do get married and you do want a divorce, you don't have to give any reason for it. So I could have used other topics where society has gone down that road. Where we've gone down the road from, I just want this much. It's really important. It's for the children. I just want this much. And the pendulum goes all the way to now they've got everything. But isn't that the way we do everything? Especially in this country?
Well, Mac, I think you pointed out something that was really fascinating. You talked about this was a state contract. Marriage was and is a state contract, or at least there is a state contract. In other words, when a person gets married and files for a marriage license, they're having a contract with the state. And what you pointed out there, which I thought was really astute and good of you to point out, was even if the state grants a divorce, the church, Catholic Church, that didn't mean anything to the Catholic Church. And I applaud them for that. I think that the Catholic Church was right on to say, you know what? You had a contract with the state. You had an agreement with the state, a license with the state. That's between you and them. If you want to start that or end that, that's fine. But if you get married inside the church, now you have a contract that you've made a covenant. It's not a contract anymore. It's a covenant that you've made before God, and you're accountable to God in that relationship. And the church should be the organization. Your local church should be the organization that walks with you as you find yourself in difficult times or in struggles or in challenges where you may be considering a divorce. You go to the church to get those things possibly worked out. If they cannot be worked out and the church decides for whatever reason on biblical grounds that you should be separated, that covenant should end, then the church can get you an annulment. That's the way the church has handled it. An annulment.
A what?
An annulment, which is
not a divorce.
Well, which is essentially the marriage ends, though. The covenant ends, right? That is
but
an
it
end.
said the marriage never existed, right? Isn't that what annulment? I could be wrong here, but I think annulment means never happened.
It may be, and that's more for the protection in the eyes of, that's more for protection of the couple, that it was better, for them. Now they weren't married and then divorced, that kind of thing. But again, though, I think that you point out something that is integral in this debate, in this discussion, even here when we talk about medical marijuana, and that is that what we forget, and Christians especially, myself included, tend to forget that what the state wants to do, what the government wants to do, and what they want to allow is what they want to do and what they want to allow. That doesn't necessarily mean that Christians have to go along with it. Here, I'll give you the perfect example. Just because you have a marriage certificate and you get divorced doesn't mean that you're really divorced in the eyes of God if you made a covenant with inside the church. That's just a piece of paper with the government.
515-244-0077. Why are we talking about covenants and marriages and divorce in the Catholic Church? Well, we're not. We're talking about how as society we seem to think that, well, I'm not going to allow this thing to happen because I think it'll lead to this. And you're eventually convinced that it won't lead to that. And then somebody waters down the slippery slope. I know your problem with cannabis oil. I know what it is. And we'll talk about that when we come back. Live here on The Truth. That's right, 99.3 FM.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
21 minutes after 3:21 Monday afternoon, the second day of May. Ooh, May. In the Lord's year 2016. Did you and Katie do May baskets yesterday?
So our wonderful neighbors came over and brought us a May Day basket, and then we went, oh, right, we forgot to do that. So no, we did not, but we were blessed with one.
That's good.
Our neighbors are better than us.
I think May Day's kind of gone out. I don't know. I mean, we always did them when we were little kids. It was a big deal.
See, it wasn't a big deal when I was growing up in Texas, and I think it might be because we didn't celebrate the seasons as much. Here, I'm really excited that it's May. I'm really excited that it's spring because the winter's over, and we've got a whole new thing going on.
And you have to mow your grass now.
Oh man! And I needed to mow it this weekend. It just rained so much. I put it off, and I'm not the only one. I have other neighbors who have very long grass. So
4-letter word that will solve all of your lawn mowing. Goat.
Yes. Goat on the go. There's a company up in Story County that you can actually rent goats. They'll come and stick goats in your yard.
Yeah.
Goats on the go, I think is what it's called. Actually.
Goats on the go.
Anyway.
All right, 515-244-0077. That's the phone. If you want your voice to be heard, if you'd simply like to talk to us on the Service Legends Truth text line, you can get a hold of us at 515-809-0993. Bob, any exciting vulgarless texts?
No, okay. I deleted those.
Coming up next hour, Weiss and Merkel. They'll be in to answer any retirement questions you might have. They're very good at that. They keep up on all those ridiculous federal rules that the government keeps handing down so they can re-educate and re-educate and re-educate and re-educate and just so they think they're important, like we need government. We don't need government. We need government to protect us and to keep things in order. That's it. We don't need you for any other reason. Anyway. The 2016 legislative session ended last week with lawmakers unable to advance legislation expanding access to cannabis oil. And for the life of me, I know why. Do you? Do you know why there is such a fight in our legislative branches, including, well, not just ours, other states, to prohibit cannabis oil from being, you can use it in Iowa. Yes, you can use it. That nice legislature last year, they approved that we could use it. And our children that have epilepsy and other illnesses, it helps them. It's like magic oil. Okay? Take the oil, put it on the little baby that has the epilepsy. Hours, days, weeks, months go by, and the baby has fewer epileptic seizures. It's magic cannabis oil. So why wouldn't every child with epilepsy have access to that? You know why? Because it's marijuana. Ooh, it's marijuana. Do you know where marijuana got a bad name, Chris?
Hippies?
Nope.
Oh, I don't know.
It was part of our immigration policy. Hello?
You're saying marijuana being bad?
Yep.
Became bad because of immigration?
Yep.
It wasn't bad before that?
Nope.
I did not know that.
Nope. The fathers of our country back in the late 1800s, early 1900 wanted to start limiting the amount of people that came across our southern border. And so they determined that if they made marijuana illegal, then the Latinos, the Mexicans, whatever they were called back then, wouldn't come to America.
How'd that work out?
Not very well.
Backfired, huh?
Well, marijuana used to be a cash crop here in Iowa.
Yes.
For the hemp.
Yep, for the hemp.
Makes good rope, they say.
Exactly. Yeah, still does.
So I know why you're against it. I get that. Because you think the slippery... See, you're smarter than most people. See, conservatives have been on the being attacked end of the slippery slope for hundreds of years. Well, we need to have a legalized way for the state to divorce two people, because when men are physically and emotionally abusive, the woman's got to have the right to walk out, but only if there's abusiveness. To today, we have no-fault divorce. Oh, you want a divorce? Sure. I love it when I see the ads in the newspaper or along the side of the road. No-fault divorce, $500. You can throw it all away. It didn't mean anything. Forget the covenant with your Creator. That's what people are scared of here. They're scared that we'll go from medical cannabis oil to Colorado or Oregon or Washington State, where just like going to, I don't know, the sock store at Valley West Mall to buy a grand selection of all kinds of socks, colors, sizes, with writing on them, you'll be able to go to a little pot shop and pick one that's called Wonderful Thunder or Dan's Dangerous Doobies or whatever it is.
You've
That's
thought about
what
this.
you're afraid of. No, actually, I just came off the top of my head.
Those were good.
Thank you. That's what you're afraid of, isn't it? I mean, admit it. Guess what? It's going to come. It's going to happen in Iowa. Mark my words, the 2nd of May at 3:27 in the afternoon, I told you that Dan's Doobie Shop is going to be open on Main Street, Iowa, in just a few number of years. Chris?
Well, I'm really glad, Mac, that you're comparing this to the divorce thing, because I had coffee.
I can compare it to a lot of things.
Well, but I think the divorce one is an interesting one, simply because I've been thinking about. It was brought to my attention that marriage and divorce in the United States is a contract that we have with the government that we can get into and we can get out of. Marriage, as we pointed out, is a covenant that two people make in the eyes of God. And just because you get divorced...
What if God isn't invited to their marriage? Seriously.
No, in all seriousness, then yeah, sure. Then the government can say you're married, you're divorced, you're married, you're divorced. You can have legal rights if you live together for a long period of time. You start to share custody and property and with
What's that
kids
called?
and
Common
things like
law
that.
marriage.
Yeah, I think that's what it.
I think it's 7 years here in Iowa, or 6 years, Bob, something like that.
But the fascinating thing is, I think that's a very similar part of the conversation that we're having about marijuana here, and that is that if marijuana becomes legal in the state of Iowa, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to go out and smoke it. It's kind of like saying that just because if it became legal to steal, that doesn't mean that I should steal, right? There are still other governing principles that should guide us and help us make the decisions we make. But if cannabis oil has a healing property to it, in other words, if it's good for people that it would benefit them medically, and Bob can speak to this. I know that you want to speak to this, but maybe we should consider having that available to people in the state of Iowa. And if you don't want your kids to take it, just like maybe you don't want your kids to take Tylenol, you don't have to give it to them. Just because Tylenol is legal doesn't mean that you have to give it to them.
515-244-0077. Let's go to the phones where Paul is on the line. Paul, you're live in Mac's World. So do you think cannabis oil, medical cannabis oil, should be available in the state of Iowa to all who want it?
Well, that's what I was going to ask Bob, because you guys just brought it up, the question I was going to ask. It happened to be a cannabinoid, which would be any sort of cannabis line, or an opioid, which would be anything like a Tylenol 3 or whatever. Which of those two would be more addictive and harmful to a system? Because you got people coming up on using heroin and stuff like now, which is an opioid, and it's killing people left and right now. And I think it's even getting worse than that. They're using what is it? I can't remember it's a small tablet in replacement of that.
I don't know.
Well, methadone?
No, it was
You're talking about the thing that Rush Limbaugh was hooked on for years?
No, this was, I don't think so. Phenolates or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, at Opium Plant, of course, we get the various drugs from that, from the opium plant, and so marijuana. I'm for the oil.
Well,
so am I. I'm going to be. I got injured while I was in the service, and I'd rather not use any opioids for pain relief. And I had smoked marijuana before, and it actually relieved a lot more pain in my body. But both of those were illegal if I, depending on what I was using.
Well, but Bob, isn't it true that? And I guess I should say, isn't it true? Because I don't know, but I'm going to guess that this medical cannabis oil, has no THC in it.
That's correct. It is not psychoactive.
So there's no way it can make you high.
That's correct. It will not make you high.
Then why do they turn it down?
Okay, there are different reasons. First of all,
they're ignorant. That's why.
First of all, the pharmaceutical companies aren't making it, so they're not into it yet. If they had a big part of it, believe me, it'd be available. The thing is, you have to make it pure. You have to separate it from all of the different components that are in marijuana plant. So you've got to purify it, because if you don't purify it, you're going to give this CBD to little kids and they're going to get high if there's still THC in there. But if you go to Colorado or Oregon, where they're selling it over the counter in these stores, you don't know where that's coming from or how pure it is. And so you have to have oversight for that. You have to have a company to be able to check it.
Or the other chemicals they use that grow in it.
Exactly.
That go through, and that gets to be a problem, too.
That gets to be a problem. So it's a safety thing.
So how do you separate the THC out from the cannabis?
Well, in the laboratory when we were there, we did it with using thin layer chromatography, but that wasn't something. Oh, you're not familiar with that?
Low level chemotherapy.
I only do that on Tuesdays. I don't do that on Mondays.
What'd you say? Low level chemo.
Thin layer chromatography. Thin layer chromatography. You put.
I don't like educated people because they use words I don't know.
You can separate many components that are within marijuana.
Is that the little thing that spins around?
No, it's just a plate.
Okay.
It's a plate with sand on it. You put it in a solvent, and the material rises up the plate, and it separates the various components of marijuana. We used to do that all the time in the lab. We still do, to identify it.
Huh.
But you can separate the THC from other substances. Now, that's not how they're going to do it pharmaceutically. They don't do it using that. That's just for us to identify. But they have to have purification steps. So that's part of the problem. And believe me, if there's money that's going to be made from it, then you have to go through human studies. A lot of these studies have been done on human, but not, scientifically, if you want to call it that way, not according to federal guidelines. And so those things need to be done to consider it safe. So if they're only on animal studies, we don't know exactly what long-term effects are going to be on people.
Currently, there is a study, I think about 5 years ago, maybe a little longer now. They were doing this in Great Britain, and they isolated not only THC, but there's another chemical in there that'll cause paranoia or excite that part of a person, and they're trying to eliminate that. And it depends on the plant that you're using there, whether those chemicals are available or not.
Right. There are over 60 different compounds in a marijuana plant. And so they have to separate all that, keep that out, and then study all that. So it's not an easy thing.
Okay.
I've got a question, though. Wouldn't that be of interest then for the pharmaceutical companies, because they would have the technology to do that? Wouldn't it be of their best interest to get involved in this process to commercialize the cannabis oil then?
Well, I would think so.
They have the money to do it. They could
But they have to have enough of it that they can make a huge profit on.
Right.
So the states have to approve it.
Paul, thanks for calling in today. I appreciate it. You're always welcome here in Mac's World. 25 minutes before the top of the hour, second day of May, and we appreciate you being here, coming back. Why, oh why did elected officials in Iowa get the thistle from the Des Moines Register? And who's got the best hamburger in the state of Iowa? I'll tell you, coming up next, live.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer. I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Hobbs,
And I'm the service manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
22 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network news. And then, Weiss and Merkel, my buddies, coming to talk to you about retirement. I'm ready. Are you? Let's go. Right now. Come on, Bob, let's go right now. We'll just go retire and leave the young buck Chris here to... Him and Jeb can run the radio station.
Yeah, let's retire.
Let's retire. Where do you want to move to?
Clive.
Clive? Oh, you want to stay where you're at? Oh, man, I could think of a lot of places I'd like to retire and wouldn't be Clive. Although I shouldn't say that because that's where I'm going to retire. I mean, we've got all 4 of our kids, and we've got 6 grandkids, more probably coming, none in the warming basket, but it would be just silly. My wife's the best grandmother in the world, and there's no way she should ever live more than... 20 minutes away from one of her grandkids. Because the great thing about being a grandma is when you get called and it's a pinch. And can you please come over and watch the kids? We forgot to tell you that today was a soccer game. Hey, don't forget tomorrow's the church banquet. And boom, we're there. Where if you live in Montana, which would be a great place to retire. Oh, it's so nice and cold up there most year round. Plus you could ride horses out in the wilderness. And that'd be my kind of retirement. I'd be like John Wayne. Well, hello, Pilgrim. That's a bad one. All right, so anyway, speaking of retirement, one of the things you're probably going to want to do when you retire is what? Buy the right home. Probably downsize. Maybe into the community you want to live in. Maybe you're going to be a little pickier. You used to pick the place you live because of the what? Oh, it was convenient for work and the schools that the kids would go to, and I can stop at the grocery store fast on the way home and pick up my cannabis oil. But when you're retired, you can go live wherever you want because you're not in a hurry to get to the grocery store. You don't need to live within minutes of work. And who cares about the schools, even though you'll pay for them in your taxes for the rest of your born days? So I got a suggestion. You got that retirement house in your mind? That little bungalow? Maybe it's the summer home, and then in the winter you're down in, Florida, Texas, Arizona, something like that. I got the guy, Seth Walker, with the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept people. 515-577-3728. Whatever you're looking for. He is the professional real estate agent you can count on. Seth Walker, 577-3728. Tell him Max sent you. In a minute, I'm going to tell you where the best burger in Iowa is from. That according to Channel 13. But first, the Thistle. You don't ever read the Register, do you, Chris?
Yes, I do, but not daily, not as much as you do.
Okay, well, do you read on Sundays when they have the thistles?
I did not read the Thistle.
What they have is they have a column where they give roses to somebody or something that they agree with, and then if they disagree with you, you get the Thistle. Say that word for me. I can't say it right. Thistle.
Thistle?
Yes.
Thistle.
That's the thing Eeyore likes to eat.
Who?
Eeyore.
Eeyore.
Cartoon character.
Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, okay. Oh, Winnie the Pooh and
Yeah.
Piglet.
His friend Eeyore.
Oh yeah, this is Eeyore.
Yeah.
Okay.
He eats thistles.
I like Tigger.
Yep.
The bouncing tiger. Tigr.
That's the great thing about Winnie the Pooh. We all like the character we resemble most.
Yeah, I'll take that as a compliment. What's he laughing at? Who do you resemble, Jad?
I was going to say I like Tigger too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you and I are Tiggers. Are you an Eeyore then?
Yes.
Bob, what are you? Are you a Piglet?
Sure. Why not?
I'm actually a little bit like Pooh. I worry and I like honey.
So, from the Des Moines Register, the paper that we depend on, a Thistle, to some elected official. Now, see, here's what I'm going to do. You got to remember, when you're reading journalism that was meant to be written and then read, there are key little words that they use to enhance their narrative. A Thistle to some elected officials in Iowa who have an unhealthy obsession with the reproduction of their female constituents. Now, how about that for a line? An unhealthy obsession with the reproduction of their female constituents. No, I don't care if they reproduce. You can reproduce all day, but you can't practice and then kill the kid when it isn't convenient. That's what I have an unhealthy obsession with. Moving on. Their fixation, my fixation, I'm just going to say my fixation doesn't end with the desire to outlaw abortion and force every pregnant woman to bear a child. Oh, now, like, what? How unnatural would that be? Oh, you're pregnant? Oh, you poor thing. You shouldn't have to bear a child. Their fixation doesn't end with their desire to outlaw abortion and force every pregnant woman to bear a child. They also want to prevent young women from obtaining information about how to avoid getting pregnant in the first place. Seriously. Lawmakers recently pushed for legislation that a change in the state law to ban Planned Parenthood from receiving public dollars. And what's the next 4 words? Now, what would you and I say? For abortions, right? That's all we care about, right? For family planning services. Because that's what Planned Parenthood does. They plan parenthood. That's like saying Pooh liked honey because he liked to get his fingers stung by the bee. And Governor Terry Branstad shares the Thistle for characterizing the proposal as reasonable. There is nothing reasonable about it. Planned Parenthood has the infrastructure to place and to reach thousands of teens with sex education programs intended to prevent sexually transmitted disease and, pregnancy. For pro-life officials who failed or skipped sex education in high school, here's a morsel of information to ponder. Ooh, they're getting kind of snarky now, Chris. They're walking right down your lane. Women who avoid unwanted pregnancies don't seek abortions. Fortunately, legislators agreed to a budget deal that maintains current funding for Planned Parenthood in exchange for doubling a tax credit, offsetting the cost of education.
Well, really, we should feel really bad for Planned Parenthood because the government does. Do you know the federal government just gave them, Planned Parenthood that is, $5 million in a federal grant because Planned Parenthood is suffering. This came to me from the Iowa Right to Life organization. Got this in an email. This, after 16 clinics, Planned Parenthood clinics have closed right here in the state of Iowa since 2010. The Dubuque Planned Parenthood has shut down for good officially. No more webcam abortions will be happening in that community. Poor Planned Parenthood.
Here, just, and I know I'm a little crazy on this.
That's sarcasm, Jeb. Jeb was giving me that look. That was sarcasm.
I know I'm a little crazy on this subject. I know I am. And the reason I'm crazy about this subject is because they think we have... No. We act like we have stupid written on our forehead. We actually want to buy into the fact that Planned Parenthood is a female medical facility. What did they call it here?
Family planning?
No.
Reproductive health?
Yeah, reproductive health. Do you know what the number one death is among women? The number one cause of death among women. Do you know what it is, Bob?
No.
Chris, do you know what it is?
I'm going to guess abortion. Can I guess abortion?
No, it's breast cancer.
Really?
Breast cancer is the number one killer of women. And there is a test called a mammogram that a woman takes to see if she has breast cancer. Do you know what test Planned Parenthood doesn't offer? Mammograms. Now, seriously, let's just... Now, so when they try to tell me that they are a female reproduction clinic, or they're not just about female reproduction, they're about the health and welfare of family planning and the women... And you go, yeah, that makes sense. I agree. They take good care of us. They do not offer. I mean, guys, the devil missed this one. They don't offer mammograms. So how could they be helpful to the women population if that's what's killing them? Please don't fall. Please don't fall to be a low information voter. Don't be a low information voter. Coming back with the best burger.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Ten minutes before 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, Salem Radio Network News, and then retirement. I said the other day in an ad, I was writing the ad, and I was trying to relate to myself. And one of the things my wife says, and she's a pretty smart woman, I didn't prepare for retirement. All I did was make a ton of money, and then I spent a ton of money. I never thought about it until, 8-9 years ago, close to when I get in 50. Gee, what am I going to do? Because I just figured I'd work. Why would I ever stop working? I don't hunt, fish, bowl, play games, checkers, chess, board. I don't do anything. I love to work. I love to work. So why would I ever need a retirement? Well, the fact of the matter is we all need to plan for retirement. So what the guys at Weiss and Merkel taught me is it wasn't too late, because I thought it was too late. I thought I'm done. I'm going to be 50. This was 7-8 years ago. I'm maybe 50 years old. And how much money could I possibly put away now out of my paycheck? $100 a week? What difference is that going to make? They have amazing ways to help you, and they'll be here to talk about that in the 4 o'clock hour here in Mac's World. All right, let's end on a high note. You want to hear about the Roosevelt High School graduate that wants to join ISIS? No, let's not talk about that. I'll save that for later. That's got what we call shelf life. So let's talk about it's official. The #1 burger in Iowa. The restaurant has been named as the winner of the 2016 Best Burger Contest held annually by the Iowa Cattlemen's Association and the Iowa Beef Recipe Council. What goes into the winning recipe? Well, the folks at the Chuck Wagon restaurant in Adair can tell you because they won it. If you don't know where Adair is, it's the smiley face as you're heading west to Denver, Omaha, Lincoln, and parts beyond. The smiley face that's on the north side of the interstate, the little yellow water tower that's got a smiley face on it, that's Adair. So what goes into the winning recipe? Chuck Wagon starts with 6 ounces of hand-patted, certified Angus beef and grills it on a flat-top grill using its own house seasoning. Now, let's break that down. Hand-patted, what does that mean? It means it isn't made by a machine. What difference does that make?
Well, it's also not frozen then, right? That's not a frozen patty.
No, you could be a hand-patted frozen. Just make them. You could make up hamburgers for a week in advance for your restaurant. Hand patty them, stick them between wax paper, and freeze them.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Certified Angus beef. I am not allowed in the restaurant business or on the radio to talk about Angus beef if it's not certified Angus beef. So certified Angus beef is the proper title. It's not Angus beef that's been certified. It's been trademarked as certified Angus beef. Hardee's got in trouble with that a few years ago.
So what does that really mean?
It means that it goes through the real tough, rigorous not FDA, USDA.
But does it mean that the beef, the cattle are raised a certain way?
Yes. They're first of all, they're Angus. Second of all, they're probably not a lot of chemicals, not of steroids and stuff like that. Let me tell you something. We put a lot of junk in our cows.
Growth hormones.
Oh, man. And our sheep and our pigs. And no offense to farmers. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying it kills us. So maybe we shouldn't. And then they grill it on a flat top. So that would mean it's not like a grill. It's like a pancake griddle. Made to order, the burgers come on toasted bread or grilled buns. According to a release, popular burgers included the bacon cheeseburger, the Chuck Wagon, a burger served on a grilled bun with sautéed onions, mushrooms, bacon, tomato, and Thousand Island dressing. Where else can you get one of the best burgers in Iowa? It's not just in Adair at the Smiling Face. In fact, one of the places that was nominated was the Ankeny Diner in Ankeny, right there off the interstate.
That's pretty close to here.
BW Burgers in West Des Moines.
Even closer.
Downright Delicious in Clarinda. The Elks Club in Creston.
Elms
Club in Creston. First Street Grill in Keosauqua. Perzakli Bar and Grill in Mankato. Maquoketa. Rides Bar and Grill in Fort Dodge, Iowa. The Ritz in Arnold's Park, and Vaughn's Cafe and Bakery in Clarinda.
Oh, Clarinda's got 2.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of wild.
Where is Clarinda? Is that?
Southeast.
Southeast, okay.
Right, Bob?
Yeah, I think so.
Southeast, yeah. So those are the best burgers in Iowa. If you want to drive, you're going to drive an hour to Adair and then an hour back. So that burger better be good. But that's at the Cattleman's Club. But to be honest with you, I've heard that the burgers at the Ankeny Diner is really good. I'll tell you another place that has a good burger, and this is not a paid advertisement. This is just my stomach growling. The new Gilroy's on 8th Street in West Des Moines, which most people are going to know as Jimmy's American Cafe. The owner, that's a buddy of mine from 20 years ago named Scott Carlson, and they have an incredible burger. And I don't even know what it's called. It's just the burger, and it's really good. They also have something there. Well, anyway, I don't go into that. But anyway, that's a good burger, too. So if you're interested in tasting one of Iowa's best burgers, you don't have to travel far. Ankeny Diner in Ankeny, BW's Burgers in West Des Moines, or a little bit around the circle, including Arnold's Park and the Ritz. Have fun and enjoy those burgers. I will tell you, you don't have to go far to find a great burger here in the state of Iowa, where the beef is yummy. By the way, Chris, do you know where the term holy...
I'm sorry. What? That's just a great line. Iowa, where the beef is yummy.
That does sound good.
That's good, yeah.
Do you know where the term holy cow comes from?
No, I don't.
India. You should have known that.
Oh.
All right, 4 minutes before the top of the hour.
That was a bad setup.
It was a great setup.
Yeah, I just missed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a great setup. That would have got a big rim shot. Boom, ching.
Yeah.
And the crowd goes wild.
Yeah. I thought it was like you were serious.
I am serious.
Oh.
Where do you think the term holy cow came from? You think it came from Batman and Robin?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
All right.
He would have labeled all of his stuff. That's my favorite thing about Adams West Batman, right? Put the label and everything.
Hey.
Microphone.
Hey.
Computer.
Hey.
Table.
Hey. I'm doing a radio show over here.
Oh.
Okay.
You brought up Batman.
Holy cow. All right.
You got it, Robin.
Can you retire? Sure. Are you ready for retirement? If you're like me, probably not. You have questions on retirement? Sure. If you're like me, I know where to get the answers. It's Weiss and Merkel. They're here in the studios, and we're going to talk to them when we come back. I'm J. Michael McCoy. If I haven't told you lately, thanks for listening. Love this job. Couldn't do it without you. By the way, don't forget Seth Walker. He's got your next house. After you listen to Weiss and Merkel this afternoon, you're going to know how you can buy your retirement house. So then you can call Seth Walker. And then you can call Brian Leach and have Service Legends come out and fix it. And then you can buy everybody the best burger in Iowa from the Ankeny Diner.
Well, and Northern Lights Pizza could deliver your housewarming party pizza.
Just tell them Max sent you. Live here on The Truth.